No disrespect at all to whoever, but I don't think he can defend. I think if someone runs at him, he dives in, he lunges in. You've got to try and get at him and try and get into the box. Go! Get in there, boy! Come on! Kompany! Woo-hoo!
Vincent Kompany, the scorer. We said they were missing Micah Richards, but Kompany's done the job.
Look at the state of those City fans. They're a right odd-looking lot.
Can I tell you what they've done there now? What looks to me, they're putting the ball onto the. They're putting when the corners anything, they're sticking the ball right on the goalkeeper. They're whipping it in there on the goalie lot. And you look at a goal that has no presence.
That's not keepers. That's not a goalkeeper's ball.
6-yard box, it should be.
No, it's not 6-yard box.
Look.
No, that's not good. You can't expect a goalkeeper to come and get that. You can wonder who's supposed to be marking Vincent Kompany, though.
This is City's big moment, and they have to give them the credit. They rose to it tonight. They had to get this result. They didn't crumble. You've said on a number of occasions, City are a better team than Manchester United.
I'm not sure I've said that.
Yes, I think you have. I think you have. I think natural justice is going to work out at the end of the season.
It might do. I don't think I ever said City were a better team.
I think you have.
What I said was, I think the matchup between the two teams works out perhaps in City's favour, because United's weakness is in midfield.
Yes.
They almost don't have one.
Yes.
So they had to bring back Paul Scholes, who's been the best player in the league since January. But the fact that they haven't got a better player than Paul Scholes when they should have is problematic.
Scholes was taken off tonight, wasn't he?
Right, because he often doesn't play 90 minutes. But
yeah, but he often doesn't play. This is
what do you mean he often doesn't play?
The playmaker that Paul Scholes is supposed to be often doesn't work. It didn't work tonight.
He didn't.
You know, these 60-yard passes.
I don't think.
No,
but Paul Scholes isn't a 60-yard pass man. Paul Scholes is a touch player. So what happens is he takes possession of the ball and he knows where everyone around him is. There's a great quotation. I think it was Carlos Queiroz who said, "Playing with Paul Scholes is like playing with the lights on."
Yeah.
And Rio Ferdinand once said that Paul Scholes passes, they tell you where to go.
Yeah.
And if you look at all the great players of the last 10 years, like Xavi, Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry, they'll all tell you the best player they played with or against is Paul Scholes.
Yeah, but you also talk to current United players that say Paul Scholes can lift a ball, send it 60 yards and drop it onto a player's foot as he's running through.
Right, and all the United players will still tell you that Paul Scholes is still running it in training, and he's also he's bossed almost every game that he's played in this season. But the reason the United didn't win tonight, I don't think it's Paul Scholes' fault. I think it's partly the formation that was selected, and partly the way that the player, like Nani had a very poor game tonight.
But hang on, with Paul Scholes, isn't there a question mark over his application and commitment? He's retired from football
played
twice.
650 times.
No, hang on, he's retired from football twice. He retired once for England. And that was many years ago, right, when he wanted to go.
Right, but retiring for England's not the same thing as retiring. Lots of players do that.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Not as young as he was. No, they don't. I don't accept that at all. Which other players have retired from England at his age? Alan Shearer was way over 30.
Ben Foster's already retired.
Well, Ben Foster wasn't a major player.
It's a different thing with Paul Scholes because
excuse me.
Paul Scholes is asthmatic. He's a brilliant footballer who's not an athlete. So in order to prolong his United career, he felt that he was being misused with England.
The asthma thing is rubbish. Fancy introducing that to the argument.
Well, do you want me to explain why before you dismiss it?
No, because well, hang on. How many games does he play for Manchester United in the season? Over 60?
Right, but if you look at Paul Scholes, he rarely starts 60 games, and he often gets withdrawn after an hour because he's not. There's some footballers who are great athletes. There are some footballers who are great footballers, and there's some who are both. Paul Scholes is a footballer, and he's not someone who can necessarily run up and down for 90 minutes. So in order to prolong his United career, and he prolonged it with many subsequent medals, he stopped playing for England in the summer. And I don't think that was unreasonable. And the reason he stopped,
the summer just gone, many summers ago.
Right, but the reason he stopped playing last season wasn't because he couldn't do it anymore. It was because he wasn't quite as good as he wanted to be because he'd set such high standards for himself. But the fact, I don't think you could argue that since he's come back, he's been anything other than committed. And anyone who's watched him play regularly will tell you that he's been absolutely brilliant.
That's what I'm saying. So his heart wasn't in football.
I don't think. No, not so. It wasn't. He didn't retire. He didn't retire because his heart wasn't in it. He retired because it was winding him up, not starting all the big games.
Yeah, okay. Well, it wound him up when he was playing for England on the wrong part of the pitch. He was playing on the left-hand side to accommodate the Gerrard-Lampard duo.
Nonsense.
Okay. Yeah, nonsense. But the real reason he retired was really he was fed up with the David Beckham circus.
No, I don't think so.
And he didn't want to be part of it anymore.
No, he retired to prolong his United career, and he did prolong his United career. I mean, Ryan Giggs did it with Wales as well.
Well, we've all got a view on that. Retiring from, playing for Wales when you're their best player is another issue. Right, stay ahead of the game with Sports Tonight Live. Don't miss a thing. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search for Sports Tonight Live on Facebook and like our fan page. Follow Sports Tonight TV on Twitter and tweet us your thoughts and opinions. Sports Tonight Live, it's the platform for the fans.